There was no gorge. There was no Festival of Sandpoint. This was huge for the time and very ambitious if they just would have pulled it off.
Long before music festivals became the summertime tradition, a group tried to gather rock and roll fans in North Idaho, but it all went terribly wrong. Our photojournalist Dave Summers has a look back nearly 50 years after the riot at Norwester 76.
Norwester 76. It's like a black eye in the community. There was a riot here. My name is Matt Alexander, General Manager of Stateline Speedway. I've been here at the Speedway for 14 years. We have always wanted to do concerts, and someone goes, oh my gosh, don't do concerts. The whole place burnt down when you did a concert. They told us all about the Norwester 76.
I'm Jim Raskell.
I'm Michael Brown.
Norwester 76 was June 4th, 5th, and 6th. I went with a friend that was older.
I was 23. Yeah, I was there with the first night.
It took about 5 hours for somebody to hit the stage. You sat there and sat there, nobody knew what was going on.
I remember seeing Blue Oyster Cult.
They were superb. It went past June 4th into June 5th.
I don't know, the first night, me and my buddy got pretty drunk, so it was kind of foggy.
The next morning when we got up, we got in the gate at the time we were supposed to, but when you got down there, you sensed something wasn't right because it looked like they were disassembling the stage.
There was no sound equipment anywhere on the stage.
Rumors started circulating that the plug had been pulled and that the show was over.
I think they had a sound system for the racetrack, and there was a guy in there saying, okay, people might as well leave because this isn't going to happen. And people, of course, they were yelling and raising hell. And he proceeded to yell a few choice words, which I would have never done.
And as it became more evident that it wasn't going to happen, then the rioting happened. The first thing that I remember as a youngster was there was up top, was like an ice cream truck. They rolled that, they being the people that were rioting, all the way down the cement stairs. It got lit on fire.
There was some security people that were working there, and they headed for the hills. As soon as somebody started getting crazy, it's like, we don't get paid enough to take care of this kind of mess.
Somebody jumped into a crane and was operating a crane, and it was obvious that they had no business operating a crane.
They had a white convertible of some sort and had people on it, and they were driving around the racetrack, and people were flying off the back of the car and climbing back on. And
anything that was not nailed down was fair game. Stuff was getting burned up.
The police showed up, but they stayed on the railroad tracks, which was south of the racetrack. They didn't want to get involved in that.
My partner, the guy I was there with, stole a case of beer.
We became afraid, you know, somebody was going to get hurt, and so we just proceeded to go from there and left.
We left. It was getting too out of control.
3-day concert, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. A lot of bands were supposed to play, and when it didn't happen, a lot of people lost out their money.
There was never any kind of real apology or we can get some money back, nothing like that. So I'm not going to justify the destruction, but I understand how they felt because it was like, man, we just got ripped off.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of pissed off people. As I got home, my dad says, are you out there raising hell with the rest of them damn hippies? No, Dad.
I'm Steve Jackson. I have been a reporter for Spokane Public Radio for 25 years. I was able to connect with John Brower, who is the producer of the show. John Brower said something along the lines that the crowd was unruly Friday night. They took the sound gear down. Then Saturday morning, as kids are getting up, they realize, hey, there's no PA. And then they don't see any bands play, and they freaked out too early and thought, hey, there's no bands playing, and they started rioting. I'm not so sure that the sound gear was being taken down the night before. I also interviewed at least one regional musician. His band was the opening act on Saturday. He said, when we walked in, things looked weird. Like it looked to me like they were taking sound gear down, but that's at 2 in the afternoon, not the night before. And he goes, I went up on stage to set up with my band, and we got up there. A sound crew guy said, hey, didn't you hear? The promoter took off, man. This thing's over. He goes, oh, it is? We were just getting ready to set up. And he said, as he was saying that, somebody threw a wine bottle at his head. And he goes, I realized, oh my God, we better get out of here. We were told that the promoter must have left. The sound guy said, no one is getting paid.
There was no gorge. There was no Festival of Sandpoint. This was huge for the time and very ambitious if they just would have pulled it off.
We were surprised that they had a 3-day concert like that in Spokane or, the areas. So when it went to hell, well, we got one night.
It was fun. I'm gonna tell you it was fun. Ultimately, I didn't get hurt. I never saw anybody get hurt. Don't really like that way of lashing out. That's not what I'm about. People were really frustrated.
Oh gosh, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4. A lot of our fence posts before we just redid our fence this year had pieces of that stage, which was also part of our roll gate. To think that people here in the Northwest would do that, yeah, it's a little intense.
You want to hold another Norwester?
That is one of our wild ideas, yes. We want a Norwester 2026, it'd be a 50-year anniversary, and not burn the place down.
Very interesting. I'd never heard that story before. Had you?
No, not at all. I was captivated that entire time. Like, what's going to happen next?
Norwester 2026, don't burn the place down.
I
That's what
like
you can call
it. That's a great motto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.